Local, late breaking. WVTM 13 News at 11 starts now.
It's just past 11 o'clock. I'm Rick Harley. Thanks for joining us on Midday. This is WVTM 13. I'm in for Sarah, who is on maternity leave enjoying her new baby Major. We're keeping track of Hurricane Idalia today. It's a busy half hour. That's expected to make landfall tomorrow morning. How people are preparing in Florida and beyond, we'll let you know. Also prepping for Idalia, how the Biden administration is getting ready as the storm bears down on the southeast. Again, welcome in. It's 11:01. We are happy you are with us. We have Bradley Brown with us. And Bradley, we were talking in the news meeting a short while ago. I guess the bad news is comes to Florida. The good news for us, perhaps we might not see a lot of the effects of that hurricane.
Correct, Rick. We'll start at home first. And a lot of clouds overhead today. That's helping keep the temperature fairly low. It's 81 degrees in Birmingham. Still sticky outside, some moisture in the air, but it's nice to step outside and not have that beaming sunshine on you. Temperatures today settling in the mid to upper 80s, and you can see a lot of cloud cover over Birmingham. We have a surface boundary that's kind of lingering in our southeastern counties, and that's going to help promote some showers and storms later this afternoon. But you can see it's pretty quiet now, nothing much in the way of rain. Hurricane Idalia now focusing on this, a big major story. Obviously, it's really going to impact parts of the Big Bend of Florida. Here at home, I don't see any major impacts, but something that we'll look at further in my full forecast. It's expected to rapidly intensify before making landfall early tomorrow. Again, not affecting us here in central Alabama too much, not even Alabama's Gulf Coast, but a big deal for residents in Florida. This is a beast of a storm, and we're keeping up with it here, also online. We'll walk you through it, talk about some potential impacts for us here in central Alabama. Rick?
Okay, Bradley, thank you. It's 11:02. You know, Florida, as she mentioned, Bradley mentioned, they're bracing for the possible impact of that hurricane. The National Hurricane Center says it's expected to strengthen into a Cat 3. Right now, it looks as if it is a 1. That storm expected to make landfall, as Bradley mentioned, in the Sunshine State tomorrow morning.
Storms are unpredictable. That cone of uncertainty is just that. It's uncertain. It's up to Mother Nature to where the storm's going to hit and to what intensity it's going to hit.
Pretty much anybody on the west coast of Florida, I mean, you can see major impacts, and so please prepare accordingly.
Well, Cedar Key looks to be the impact zone right now, but Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says tens of thousands of linemen will be ready to address power outages statewide. He says tankers are bringing extra fuel to Central Florida. Some schools have already closed. People in Idalia's path are putting out sandbags. They've been boarding up homes, businesses as well. They're also clearing out storm drains in preparation for what could be catastrophic storm surges. Idalia, again, could make landfall tomorrow morning, as Bradley mentioned. The federal government, in fact, preparing alongside state and local officials for life-threatening storm surges and, of course, that wind. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Amy Lou up in the nation's capital sharing what action the White House has already taken.
Well, President Biden approved an emergency declaration for Florida, which streamlines federal resources that are being moved into place ahead of the storm. People in Florida spent Monday sandbagging and stocking up on food and supplies. FEMA sending incident management assistance teams to assist local and state authorities and pre-position supplies and search and rescue teams in Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. Emergency officials are urging people living in the path of Idalia to prepare now and to listen to local and state guidance on evacuations and updates.
The cone of uncertainty is uncertain and it can shift, right? The really key thing to do now is to listen to local officials and make sure folks are following the alerts they receive, right? If you get evacuation orders, follow them. And it's very important to note that you don't have to evacuate 100 miles away. You may be able to evacuate 5-10 miles away and get out of the danger areas.
FEMA is standing by, ready to assist at least 33 counties in Florida. In Washington, I'm Amy Lou.
Thanks, Amy. Idalia has the potential to join a notorious list of ice storms now, retired because of their devastating and deadly impacts. We did some homework and we found that when a storm name is retired, that means it's removed from the official name list used by the National Hurricane Center. It can't be used again in the ocean it originated in. Now, in the Atlantic Ocean, 96 storm names have been retired since 1954, and of those, 14 were ice storms. That's the most retired of any letter. Center. 12 of the 14 ice storm names have been retired in the last 22 years alone, and that includes 2022's Hurricane Ian, 2021's Hurricane Ida, and 2020's Hurricane Iota. All three of those were very deadly storms with between 80 and 150 deaths. There's a potential for gas problems anytime a hurricane moves into the United States, but AAA Alabama tells us it's unlikely that the hurricane will cause any gas prices to fluctuate much in our great state. AAA recommends you stay informed and perhaps reconsider if you're planning a trip to Florida. They say to find a different route, an alternate route, avoid areas impacted by the storm. But speaking of gas prices, AAA reports the average price for a gallon of regular in our state, $3.41. To stay up to date with Adelia's track towards the U.S., download our free WVTM 13 app. We are all over it with pertinent information inside. The time is 11:06. We have a traffic mess in the capital city this midday. Parts of southbound I-85 have been shut down this morning in Montgomery due to a major crash. Police said it was a 4-vehicle collision involving an 18-wheeler. At least 4 drivers had minor injuries. The crash also significantly damaged a bridge. That's closed down, so AlDOT can assess the damage and figure out a plan on how to repair it. Drivers are detouring around that area, so stay safe. 3 men now recovering after 2 shootings on the east side of Birmingham. Police say they learned the victim, who was shot in the hip, drove to First Avenue North. That victim was taken to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No arrests have been made. Now, minutes later, Birmingham police say 2 shooting victims showed up at UAB. At this time, we do not know where that shooting took place. We're looking into it. We don't know the extent of the injuries. We're waiting on a release. Stay with WVTM 13 for the very latest. Well, the trial against a man facing 21 sex crime charges is underway. That jury was picked for Jonathan Master Lockett's trial. He is facing 35 total charges, 2/3 of those sex crimes like rape, sodomy, sexual torture. A special team eliminating Jefferson County's massive rape kit backlog helped link Lockett to 14 victims of sex crimes. Opening statements are underway. One of Birmingham's most historic streets could soon see some major changes. In fact, today's City of Birmingham officials moving forward in the process to flip 4th Avenue North into a 2-way street. WVTM 13's Patsy Douglas here this morning to tell us how local businesses are feeling about this possible change.
Many local businesses are still curious about the change that could happen right here on 4th Avenue North, as it still is a one-way street. The city working on a grant that would make major changes to 4th Avenue North. The city looking at applying for a $15 million grant to change the road from a one-way to a 2-way from 24th Street to 9th Street. I spoke with business owner Derek Simpson. His family's business just opened weeks ago. Simpson believes the change might expose more people to the area.
Not many people are familiar with us and what we offer. I think that foot traffic and just the overall exposure that we'll get from having that additional impact to the community would be magnificent.
Now, many other businesses, they do have concerns about the construction that could happen on this road. It's definitely going to be a long process as it's just getting started. In Birmingham, Patsy Douglas, WVTM 13.
Appreciate you, Patsy. It is 11:09. The city also voting to give UAB permission to install 13 license plate readers about campus. This will allow UAB police with alerts to identify wanted or unwanted vehicles. The university spokesman telling us in a statement that they are pleased to be working with the city on new technologies to enhance campus security. It's been nearly 2 weeks since Warrior stopped providing emergency services to Kimberly and Morris. Now, last night, Kimberly City councilors gave us an update on the new service and those response times. The fear here is slower ambulance response times in Morris and in Kimberly. Now, the cities were asked to pay $42,000 a year for emergency services. City leaders say despite having to find outside resources to make sure people can get to an ER, if necessary, of course, the safety of residents still comes first.
You're checking in at least once to twice a week. What has the wait time been? How many calls has there been? Checking in with Morris, doing the same thing, because we want to stay on top of it.
Well, the city of Kimberly responds to posts about emergency transport service. They said in part the decision was not entirely based on money. Before, the city would pay any amount it wanted financial information, but never received it. Based on information gathered, the city of Kimberly, they say, does not feel those folks should pay Warrior $42,000. Birmingham City Schools taking action to stop gun violence with their first ever Stop the Violence Football Classic. This game will be between Ramsey and Parker over at Legion Field. During the game, players will raise awareness about violence prevention. Kickoff set for Thursday night. District will have more info about that game later on this afternoon. The Sylacauga City School System announcing new sets of rules for all home football games this year. Every person under the age of 16, this is Sylacauga City, must be with an adult over the age of 19 or a Sylacauga High School student. A clear bag policy will be enforced. Fans may not stand along the fence or in front of the bleachers. They cannot enter the field of play for any sporting event, and if they fail to comply, they will be dismissed immediately. If you're hitting the road this Labor Day, AlDOT says all interstate lanes will be open, green and clean for you this Labor Day holiday weekend. As always, a ton of people are expected to hit the roads. AlDOT officials will suspend all temporary lane closures from September 1st all the way up to September 4th. Ahead of Labor Day weekend, Aaliyah promoting safety on its roadways and waterways. Here's some of the things they say to do to stay safe. A lot of them we know, some we might have forgotten. Obviously, avoid driving or boating under the influence of alcohol or drugs. But second, obey the law. Third, buckle up, regardless of how short your trip is. Also, avoid the water during inclement weather. Keep an eye on the radar, especially thunder, lightning. And finally, be extra cautious when traveling through construction zones. Slow it down just a bit. Time is 11:12. The city of Pleasant Grove hosting its annual Jazz in the Grove Festival this Labor Day weekend. That'll take place on September 3rd from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. There's going to be food trucks and vendors and, of course, music. You're encouraged to bring a lawn chair or a blanket and enjoy the event. Well, we're just warming up. Coming up next on WVTM 13 News Midday, a UNC Chapel Hill faculty member killed in a shooting that triggered a campus lockdown, again, in North Carolina. And we're still tracking Hurricane Idalia as it moves up the eastern Gulf of Mexico, Cedar Key, Florida, a possible target. Briley is here with the scoop on that. This is WVTM 13.